But today, it's all about Chelsea's financial concerns. Joining me to chat more about the sanctions and how it will affect Chelsea and especially the long-term outlook of the club is sport business researcher Nqobile Ndlovu. A very good afternoon and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Good afternoon, Valen. How are you?
All right. So this is something we've never seen in football, but it's also something that the modern world hasn't really seen, the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. What do you see happening? And as a maybe Chelsea fan, are you believing what the governments of the UK are saying, that they do see Chelsea as a valuable cultural asset?
Yeah, absolutely. Chelsea is a valuable cultural asset. I mean, since Roman Abramovich came into Chelsea, he spent over 2 billion, almost 2 billion pounds on the club. And, there's been a huge influx of, top-class talent into English football. And, Chelsea is definitely valuable. It does a lot for the community. That's part of this club statement today, where they asked for the sanctions to be amended slightly to allow them to continue to do stuff for the community. And I think that Chelsea will definitely be, well sought after, regardless of what's going on with Roman Abramovich and the current situation with the sanctions.
So how do Chelsea now go about actually dealing right away with what's going to happen? Because as much as the sanction and the special licenses are, it does seem as if the government is very open to assisting this club in making it not impact the community, but also the players.
Yes. So effectively, the club has been expropriated without compensation from Roman Abramovich. Essentially, with the freezing of his assets, they've taken ownership of the club. What will then happen is that, the government has then said that they will also be open to the club being sold, but under their conditions. There are owners who are said to be interested in still buying the club, regardless of what's going on. And I think those owners will definitely put. I know that there was an offer apparently made by an American investor with alongside a Swiss investor as well. So I'm quite sure that the government will want to expedite the sale of the club quite quickly. Roman Abramovich himself had already said that he would like to sell the club and donate the proceeds to people in Ukraine. And he wasn't looking to call back any loans from the club. So immediately, in the immediate future, nothing really changes too much for Chelsea. They can play their games. The only difficulty will be, as you said, the travel to Lille next week, where they only have £20,000 to spend on travel costs, which is difficult if you've got a full staff of players. They get most of their money from the sale of players. That's where a lot of their money has come from, and that then actually they make more money from the sale of players than any other club in the Premier League. They've got a huge army of players on loan and so on and so on. So I think that might cause a bit of a problem for investors to look at and say, well, apart from the money of the owner and apart from the sale of players, what else is this club going to do in terms of revenue generation on its own? And other owners are not willing to throw in the amount of money that Roman Abramovich has. It is generating a lot more revenue now. Revenues have quadrupled since Roman Abramovich came in. So that makes it attractive as an asset. But for Chelsea fans, it might be a worrying situation to know who else is coming in to try and buy this club.
As much as it is a fantastic brand, it's a cultural asset in the UK, do you think anybody is saying that maybe it's too much of a hot potato to even touch?
Absolutely not. It's going at a bargain price, I would think, regardless of what Roman Abramovich wants. And it's now out of his hands. As I said, it's been expropriated from him. It will go at a bargain price. They are European champions. They are Club World Cup champions. It's a big club with big players, with a really good manager, with a really good youth setup, and really good players. They play great football. So I don't think that investors would be worried too much about it being a hot potato. They would want to snap it up quickly if they can. And I'm sure I've heard that there's apparently more than 10 investors who are looking to buy Chelsea. So I don't think that they're short of suitors. I just think that the underlying numbers, I'm not so sure about as to whether they're as valuable as what Roman Abramovich might think.
sports business researcher Nqobile Ndlovu. Thank you so much for your time chatting to us here on Newzroom Afrika.